listeners. Welcome to Mixtapes and Mopeds with Red Wheels Panda, the fastest growing podcast on the internet. Thank you for all the loyal following. Can't thank you enough for all the positive feedback. We took a couple weeks off from the holidays and watching a little bit of college football here and there. It was kind of fun. Especially, it's a good time to be a Buckeye. We have a great podcast today. As I said, pretty cool to be an Ohio State fan. By the way, you've got to stick around to the very end. We have got some uncut footage. If you're a Buckeye fan, you're going to see some great interviews, couple of shots, probably interview with the Red Wheels Panda team here that was up for 10 TV in Columbus, and we'll have a little behind-the-scenes footage. Pretty freaking cool. What say you, Panda?
Man, you are right. It's been a while since we've done this, but can you believe it? This is episode one of our second season. Did you think we'd actually make it to a second season?
Episode one of the second season? No kidding.
That's crazy to actually have done enough of these where we are into our second season. Pretty cool.
Go, Andy.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to get your guys' opinions on. So it's been cold, a little bit snowy here in Atlanta, right?
Well, wait a minute. We got an introduction to do here. Who's this gentleman we have on the podcast?
So, number one son of the panda, the eldest of the panda children, Mr. Connor Young is joining us.
The elderly statesman. Welcome, Mr. Connor. We've been
that's a dangerous. That's a dangerous phrase, the number one son. Some people might misinterpret that on this podcast.
Well,
hopefully they
number
don't
one
just tune
in
out.
Chronological order is do it that way.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this should be fun. So before we get into all of that, I did want to just bring one thing up to get your opinion on. So, it's cold, it's snowy, like I mentioned, and when I drive up the driveway, we have about 7 to 12 deer that live on our street, okay? And they're cute. They, the families, they go through our property every day. But when I pull up, occasionally I will wake them up in the evenings and they're trying to sleep back on the back of the fence where it's kind of isolated. And I don't know, that just infuriates me because these things eat everything I plant back there, like everything. So I can only plant like ornamental grasses at this stage. They eat the azaleas, they eat these little purple plants, anything. And it's because they're sleeping back there. And then I inevitably chase them away. And I feel like crap, but I'm like, wouldn't you do the same thing? I mean, these things are vagrants. Get off my property. Am I just being
You need to borrow my dog.
There, I need a dog. That's what I need. Yes. Fence the area.
You need to have a little dog to go out there and love to play with them, but my dog would probably make friends with them and you'd have more of them.
Your dog is way too friendly. Yeah, she would probably just be friendly with them and encourage them to come back more often. Anyway, so I feel like a heel half the time, but it happened just recently again, and I'm like, I feel like a bad person, but I mean, get out of here. Vagrants. That's the way I look at it. So that's my random observation of the day. So why don't we get in, Steve? You like doing this? Why don't we indoctrinate young Mr. Connor here with the questions that we always ask our new guests, the noobs.
Every time we have a new guest on, we like peppering them with a little bit of questions. If you watch these podcasts, you probably know what they are, but have long forgotten. So we'll start you out because it's Mixtapes and Mopeds. What song, in today's world, you put it into your playlist, but in our time, you would be putting it onto your favorite mixtape. What song would you put onto your mixtape?
I thought this would be a lot harder, but, over the past 3-4 years, I've really fallen in love with Foreigner, and we were going to a concert of theirs not but a year and a half ago on my birthday, and of course I have to pull up every song they've ever produced. And the first one is this song called Star Rider. I don't know how I'd never heard it before, but this song is probably the first song that's truly like blown me away the first time I've heard it. And of course, I'm screaming at the entire concert, play it, even though the lead singer wasn't even the one who sung it in the song.
Mhm.
But Star Rider by Foreigner is absolutely the first one I'd put on my mixtape.
That is such an under the radar great song. That was from their first album, and they had other songs in that first album that were more popular. But Star Rider, like you said, it's so different and unique and kind of powerful, but melodic at the same time. But it's Foreigner, so it's rock. Yeah, that's you had mentioned that to me when we went to that concert. So I went back and listened to it, like, wow, I haven't heard this song in years and years and years. Very good song.
Connor, you just brought up a memory to me. So back in when Andy and I were growing up, it was probably 1980, before cable. And so one of the first things around Lancaster, there were probably about 15 stations. One of them being MTV and Turn TBS. The others very little. But the people that owned the cable thing had a little station, and they would broadcast like on Friday nights some sort of dance hall, kind of at the station, and they were kind of like the dial in for MTV. So you could call them up and say, play my favorite song.
Oh.
And so my memory of being in 1980, like freshman or even eighth grade, probably eighth grade, was calling up like Beavis and Butthead going, Cold as ice, cold as ice. So
Uh,
I'm on air playing Cold as Ice, singing Cold as Ice to the city of Lancaster on the rock, whatever they did back in the early days of cable. It was kind of like the what was the two guys that Red always talks about Mike Myers and what am I?
Wayne's World.
Uh,
Wayne
Wayne's
and
World.
Garth.
That's what Wayne and Garth. That was the Wayne and Garth show of Lancaster, Ohio. Wayne's World.
So did they play Cold as Ice?
Oh yeah, they played it,
Huh?
and there were like 20 people out in this black and white dance floor going around. Cold as ice, dude. You know, I'm on the phone screaming it out too, live on the air, and as dumb as could be. But thank you for that little memory jog down memory lane.
Well,
Oh, of
you
course.
So
reminded me of something now. That same program, they actually came out to the bowling alley and they did like a my bowling league team pitted against another team in our league, and we
please tell me it
they
wasn't me because we played in that same
I
league.
know you did, but it was I don't believe it was you. But
And where's our newspaper articles of that bowling league results?
yeah,
You guys were awesome.
yeah, I tell you, I went through it's called newspapers.com, and so you can get a subscription. What they've done, they've scanned all these newspapers from like Lancaster Eagle Gazette, but really all over the country, and they've not just scanned them, but they've allowed you to search on the text. So they've, it wasn't written in an email format, right? So they have to actually scan it and translate it into text so that you can then scan the document. And so I was looking for my name and your name and Jill's name and other my brother's name. And anyway, on my name, to your point, Steve, apparently in the paper they would every week produce the results from our bowling league out at Tiki Lanes, and so my name was popping up, and anytime that I was one of the top performer, it would pop up in the paper, and I don't even remember that, but it was kind of cool to see my name in the paper. I had some pretty nice bowling scores back in the day when
I'll
I was
bet you did. I hated playing against you.
Yeah.
My handicap had to be if you did that in the scoring. My handicap had to be like whatever 160. Means I could bowl a solid 140 every week.
Uh, my average really wasn't that great. I think by the end it was like 165 or something. It was, not too good, but
Respectable, but yeah.
respectable. And but the other guys were like on my team. I was like probably the worst bowler, but one guy was like 195, Ron Tipton, if you remember that guy.
Ron Tipton, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then Scott
Almost the name of Scott.
Ridenhour, Rick Perry.
I
Yeah.
knew. Yeah, and Scott Ridenhour's ball would fly down the alley.
Oh man, he put some curve on the ball. I'm telling you, that guy, he was a really good bowler. So I was kind of, the third or fourth best bowler on the team. But yeah,
Dondra was on that team too, wasn't he?
he was in the league. He was not on that team, but he did
Oh,
he
okay.
did bowl in the league. But yeah, our team was. I think we pretty much won every year that I bowled there. We were pretty good back in the day.
I wish I knew you
Well,
were in the
that's
league earlier. I mean, can you imagine me at 9 years old going, how is this guy so good at bowling?
Yeah.
It's not like there wasn't much of a competition for family bowling, but I'm like, even so, like this guy just knows how to do it.
So the last time I bowled with my company, it was right before COVID, when we still would go to bowling alleys and do the team outings, whatever. So I picked up a 14-pound ball, just alley ball off, you know, off the rack, and went out and bowled like a 237. It's crazy. People were like, "What? What? Who does that?" Like, I don't know.
Turkeys all the way. Turkey,
Yeah,
turkey,
it's
turkey.
turkeys everywhere. Yeah. All right, so we've gone down bunny trail. What's our second question for the young whippersnapper here?
Oh, right around that time when we were dancing on the Friday night with Mike, the DJ, that was the guy's name, by the way. We would be riding around in Lancaster, Ohio on a moped. Mr. Connor, have you ever ridden on a moped?
I have, and those things weigh 5 times heavier than you think they would. I just like trying to pick up one of those that's on the ground laying down. No, we had one. It was very short lived. We had one in college, and unfortunately, it went down the hill at some point, and we no longer had a moped. But for a couple of weeks
Was Dave
there,
Heil visiting? Was Dave
Yeah,
Heil
Dave
visiting?
must have been there.
He wrecked the moped in way back in junior high. The first time I met him.
it was a
All
blast.
right, here comes the toughest question of the newcomers. If you could play for any band in history, who are you playing for, and what instrument are you playing?
What's funny is I actually wrote this question in, so this is mine, and I already had an answer when I
Ah,
wrote this one in too. It doesn't even make sense because this would never happen. But if I could choose, I would be in Madison Square Garden on the piano while Billy Joel is singing. That would
oh,
just
good
be.
God.
Oh,
Can you imagine just sitting out looking across it? I mean,
oh,
I've seen pictures of those crowds, but yeah, that's where I would sit.
wow, wow.
Probably one of the top three concerts or top one Billy Joel and Elton John when they played down in Tampa. We had great seats, and it's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. I mean, funny, I came out the other day of Kroger's, and I hear the Italian wedding song playing in the parking lot, loud as can be, and I hear some girl singing, and I'm looking around going, where the heck is this coming from? And I hear this girl scream. I mean, just it's beautiful actually. And they're playing the song, and she's bored. She's sitting in some dude's pickup truck, sitting outside the window, and singing along the song. And she's like 16 or 17. I'm going, that song lives on. It's got to be 50 years plus old of a song. And somebody at 16, 17, 18 years old still loves Billy Joel. And growing up, I didn't appreciate it as much as I appreciate Billy Joel now.
He's class.
Great pick. Good.
I saw him in
Fantastic.
1990 with Elton John. That was going way back. That was an awesome show.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than those two. All right, last one's a very easy one. What's your favorite cereal growing up?
That's easy. Cinnamon Toast Crunch all the way. If you can eat it right before they get soggy from the milk, you're golden.
That's a popular pick. I think there's
Is
been
that?
about three that have picked that very similar kind of, yeah, that's a popular pick. Those guys
Well,
must be doing something right.
it was like I feel like that's the safe sugary. Like we weren't allowed to get the Reese's Pieces or the Reese's Puffs or like the really dark ones, but I feel like Cinnamon Toast Crunch was okay enough where Mom, Miss Panda wasn't super upset buying it.
All right, round the horn. We've got had a little bit of talk, but as a group here, I know Connor had the experience. He's a Georgia grad and certainly a big time Georgia fan and got to experience some national championships. But we, the Buckeyes fans, and even Connor's still a Buckeye fan. What is it? Number two team is Ohio State number two team.
1.5.
There you go.
It's
Wow, that's
whoever's in season.
it's. I think Stone would have the same answer. 1.5.
Yeah.
He moved Auburn up, but still a big Buckeye fan, huge Buckeye fan. But I don't know about you all, but I'm still in shock and awe. It was screaming my head off in the house, and uh, your dad and the Panda and I and our wives, we got the experience of walking around and seeing a lot of cool things on media day, and then even the day of the game, and being down there and experience all the fans coming in. You know, we wearing Ohio State all the time, and we were down there going. At the best day, we sold tickets at about $1,300 each. And you're going, geez, I at least need two, if not five, if not six, and it's just not doable to. And we're going, dang it! We've gone to a lot of games. Pan and I have been through a lot of watching Ohio State. We really wanted to be in the game, but you go, for that kind of money, I just can't. If they lose, I'm going to walk away and going, I just spent whatever $3,000, and that's the real one. Ooh, am I going to go? And we felt good about the game. Is here in Atlanta. You had no other costs, but it was hard. What's your thoughts there, Panda?
Yeah, so we ended up watching it down in Midtown at the Taco Mac down there, which is cool. There are a lot of Buckeye fans down there. But the tickets right at kickoff were $5,600. And we were doing the math for the seven of us. It was going to cost like $38,000 if we wanted to all go to the game at that price. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. So it's crazy that you can't get into an Natty game living in the town where the game's going on. But I think you and I, Steve, have had suffered through, a span of about 20 or 30 years when the Buckeyes never won a title. And Ryan Day mentioned it in the post games, like 3 titles in 50 years. These don't happen. Fan bases think that they should win every year, but 3 titles in 50 years for Ohio State, for one of the best programs out there, they don't happen. You got to enjoy them when you get them. And so I'm enjoying the heck out of this with social media. And I can't the Will Howard to Jeremiah Smith pass at the end of the game. I've probably watched like 50 times now on all my various social media feeds, and I watch it every time because it's just so good. So I'm still in the glow phase of celebration.
Connor, what you? I mean, you've seen that. This is like your third one. Yeah. No.
It is funny. Yeah. I mean, I've had four in the last 10 years, I guess, with Georgia
Yeah, there you
being
go.
two in the middle. And I'm so lucky I got to be a Georgia fan right as they ended their 50-year streak of being nothing but a lousy program. So though, I get more enjoyment seeing just the look on the brothers at this point. Jack has really come into being a huge Ohio State fan, which wasn't always the case. And so, you know, we kicked the field goal. It's looking good. The game's over. You have Taco Mac employees running around, high-fiving people. We're all jumping, screaming. I took off work the next day to celebrate. Like, it was just a complete it was awesome. I mean, that was the best outcome I could have hoped for.
I got to say, a byproduct. We had the opportunity, and I talked about this going down for media day, and so we are across the fence from the players and the coaches, and we are, I mean, 5 feet from so many of the different players, and we were watching those interviews. And from my perspective of listening to the kids on the Buckeye team and to watch the interviews, and I was just so proud of a team. They were so professional, so well spoken, very professional. It was just everybody around there, and everybody was just speaking from the heart as brotherhood. And you go, man, this is probably one of the better teams I've seen, and proud of a bunch of boys that are 18 years old to 21 years old, and the oldest is probably 23. Well, today's college world, 28. But they were just. It's hard to find, when you find that many individuals of just a bunch of a good group of gentlemen. They were just wonderful to listen to. They treated the fans well. It was an unbelievable experience. And I've heard it through all the media too. Everybody says the same thing. And that was both teams. We didn't pay attention as much to Notre Dame, but it's the same comments. That makes it a lot of fun to be, put your arms around a team and go, man, that was a fun team to watch. And we'll talk about it forever. and then enjoy that for a long time. And by the way, there will be some behind the scenes footage. Stick around to the end. You want to listen all the way through. Don't fast forward. All right, segment number one. We've it's our favorite sports events. We've talked about this. We probably even had a Dirty Niner in the past. This is a good one. We've got a youngin on here that it's a good topic to talk about. And we don't always talk about the same, but go around the horn and talk about some of the whether you're in it or something that you have as a reminder. And Andy, go ahead and kick it off and talk about your favorite sporting event.
Yeah. So the two that I visited and watched were the '97 Rose Bowl against Arizona State, and then the 2014 Sugar
Yes.
Bowl that we were all
of us, both
your
families.
kids, my kids, and wives, we were all at that one. So those two are the ones that really jump out to me in terms of going there. And then the one I played in was against the 1984 Olympic baseball team. They were touring the country that summer of '84 before they're going to LA for the Olympics. And I got to get on the field with guys like Barry Larkin and Mark McGuire and Will Clark and a whole bunch of other guys that you guys would have remembered. And it was kind of cool just to be on the field with those guys. So those are kind
That's
of
a
the
really
three.
cool story. I met Will Clark on an airplane. There's a great story behind that one too. He's a good dude.
Good dude.
Yes. Yeah. Real good guy. Connor, what's your favorite sporting event in memory?
I'm surprised you didn't dive in a little bit on the Rose Bowl because that was on my list, but not just the game. And I didn't even know this is what it was called until today when I was looking at it. But the run through the heart of the South, 85 yards, Zeke to put the Punisher down. I think it put him up at least 15 points. I remember sitting up there, just sitting around the swarm of Alabama fans that we somehow got put behind and just watching them just sit down as every 10 yards, the crowd gets louder and louder. So that one I remember so vividly. And that was just amazing. The other one I had here is recent. I don't know how much you guys watched of the Olympics, but I got to catch the end of the USA-France gold medal game. And watching the last 3 minutes where Steph Curry must have made 4 3-pointers in the span of 35 seconds was probably the most patriotic I've ever been in my entire life. Every single one was just absolutely absurd, and to have him come out being called the devil of the U.S. or something after that game was just so funny to me. Absolutely love that. I don't watch a ton of basketball, but that was super special.
That's pretty cool. That's a really cool story. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Man, that's a good one. I like it. Any more, Connor?
I didn't have anything I did personally. I mean, I was in kind of a similar vein. It wasn't very long. It was pretty brief, but I had the chance to play for USA Baseball, or at least in like a tryout form factor. That was super cool though, to go to a event like that. I forget exactly where that was.
It's in Cary, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Cary, North Carolina. Wow.
That whole trip was shaky hands. You're just surrounded by 500 other people looking to do the same thing. But I had a blast. So that whole experience was kind of wrapped up into one sports memory.
Some of the guys that were on your team when you played there are in the majors or in AAA on their way to the majors. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was a lot of good talent there.
Good story, Connor. I'm going to share mine in a little bit of a video that was very recent. And I gotta turn, where is...
We see Kirk and you're at Texas Tech.
Yeah, I've got to change something here. So, there we go.
Hey Steve, it's Kirk. We're here in Atlanta getting ready for the national championship, Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish. Wish you were here, man. Appreciate you repping that jersey every Saturday. It means a lot. Thanks very much.
That's awesome. Herbie.
So Herbie, I just he was not much of a he's a quarterback at Ohio State. Yeah, everybody knows that. He was good, but I just always enjoy him calling the games, and especially now in the last couple 3 years, him bringing the before it was Ben, now it's Peter bringing into the game. So I've always loved listening to him and his insight, and he tries to be as neutral as can be. And he's always been somebody I always walk around. Whenever we go to any game, no matter where I'm at, I'm wearing the Herb Street jersey because it always ticks somebody off, and it always brings in conversation. And that's what I like to spur a little bit of conversation with somebody that says, "Why are you here at the Georgia South Carolina game with an Ohio State Herb Street jersey on it?" Because you're going to ask me, and that's exactly why I want to go do that. And then then Panda also. I'll go with number 2 here. He shared the article of the newspaper, and I went, God bless. So one of the life's little lessons too is think about. I was a wrestler in high school, but God bless, I was horrible. Let's not kid ourselves. I was good enough to be wrestling on varsity and good enough to go. And this particular one was a life lesson. I had that guy. If you look at it, it's a terrible hold if you're a wrestler at all. But I went into first place into this tournament, and there were 6 seconds left to win the final match. I'm up 6-5 on that kid, on a kid, not that kid, but another one, to win the tournament, which was probably my pinnacle of wrestling. And in wrestling, you have to take a step forward when they blow the whistle. And I took a step backward when they blew the whistle and got called a penalty point when I took a step backward. And at that point, I probably had 4 matches in for that day, and I was exhausted. I mean, beyond exhausted. And all I had to do was take a step forward and, dodge the dude for 6 seconds, and it would have been over. Well, let's just say in overtime, there were a bunch of bad things that happened. The dude picked me up in the air and threw my face into the mat, and that was it. I even had a bloody mouth and 3 new teeth. So the life's little lessons are make sure you're always taking a step forward and don't take a step backwards. And be persistent.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
That's a thank you, Panda, for putting that out there. And for all those, you got to go to YouTube if you want to see that one. For anybody listening on to the audio channels, you can go check it out on YouTube. Let's move it on to segment number 2. And this is a fanfare because on here we have a brewmaster. If we had the dream world, we'd have the Connor's Brew Pub in Milton, Georgia. And got space for him to go and start his brew pub. But I thought it was Panda mentioned this. I go, that's a fantastic idea. We should go around, and we love doing Dirty Niners on the best of. So, Panda, we'll start off with you being number 1. What is your favorite beer?
So when I was in Austin for a couple years in school, pretty much only thing they drank there and what I drank was Shinerbach. And I don't drink dark beers, but it's this beer, Shiner, which is made there right around Austin area, is so good. And I don't always find it, but over Thanksgiving, found some, and we drank it over Thanksgiving. It was great to get back to. That'll put that at the top of my list, my own personal list. I'm not the beer connoisseur like you guys are, so my list isn't going to be quite as deep or as thoughtful. But that one is a good one for anybody, I think.
Good pick. I like that. I should have started off with the Brewmeister.
Yeah.
With Connor. Should have started off with Connor, but we had to get our guest a little. And how do we get and do this? So, Connor, go ahead. What's the best beer you like? Give us number 1.
Number 1. All right.
You're at number 2. But we'll go for.
Oh yeah, sorry. Number 2. Personal number 1. I don't even think this one's really available in the States, or if it is, it's a different name. But I had the privilege of going over to London 2 years ago to visit some girlfriend's family, and I'm walking through this little town, cobblestone town, and pop in this random bar and see Budweiser on tap. And I go, oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that like we had Budweiser over here. And she goes, no, no, no. This is not your American Budweiser. This is Budweiser Budvar. It's a completely separate Czech-owned brewery. They've been doing it since, I'm sure, 1600. And we, of course, stole the name and brought it over here. It is similar in a lot of ways, but it is the best classic pale Czech lager I've ever had and will ever have. I think it even goes by the name Czech Bar over here if we can get it. But if I'm ever back in London, the first thing I'm doing is sprinting over there to get a couple more pints.
Connor, you've made my day because I have exactly about the same one. It is instead of going to London, we're going to go to Prague to check to where they make a very similar. It wasn't the Budweiser, but there was another place there, and I know I'm not going to be able to say it. It was in Prague, and they make the same Pilsner there. This was a craft Pilsner. The place was like, boy, I'm never gonna Ulkenstau, and they made a Pilsner that, like you said, in Prague. And if you want to go for the best beer you ever have, in Prague, there's probably about 6 or 8 different one of these places. It's so fresh that they only allow a keg to be out for 2 days, and if it's not drank in 2 days, which is not a problem there apparently, it's the most beer consumption out of anywhere in the world is Prague. They will finish it off, but it actually even has probiotics in it. It has zero anything from it it is the freshest. It's hard to explain. It doesn't taste like a beer. It's so wonderfully fresh, and you get to taste all of the ingredients in there. So very similar to your Budweiser, and I saw that one there too. I tasted that one, and that one's a fantastic beer too. But this craft beer, what's it called? Kuzel? There's another one that over here it's terrible, but over there it's awesome.
Yep.
But very similar. Well done. Beer number 3, both of them coming out of Czech Republic. Mr. Panda, you're up at number 4.
I'll pull us back to more domestic. I think this is domestic. So I found this when I was up in Cincinnati, went to a Reds game, and they had this beer, Casey and
Little Kings, 7 ounces?
No, Little Kings. That Little Kings in a while. Not a Uni Light either.
Little Mickey's Big Mouth.
Mickey's Wide Mouth, yes.
Little Big Mouth, little Wide Mouth. Go ahead, sorry.
Mango Cart is the beer. So
oh,
I love the fact, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big beer connoisseur. I don't like the aftertaste of beer, but Mango Cart is very fresh and crisp, and it just has no aftertaste. It's got some orange, some citrusy flavoring in it, but it's just very crisp, and so I like that. I drink it whenever I can find it.
fantastic pick. I love that stuff. All the above. It's, the older you get, you don't want all that aftertaste crap.
Yeah.
That one's a good one. Connor, you were up at number 5.
I am. Yeah, that Mango Cart's great. I think it recently got purchased by Budweiser not 3 years ago. So now it's in every stadium you can find, I think, which honestly super lucky. No, I think it's one of the few acquisitions that probably helps the brand. Mine on number 5. Hopefully this will come through on the audio. If not, it's going to be a YouTube special. Any good fan of this beverage will instantly recognize the sound. Maybe not. Did you guys hear that even come through?
Yeah. Heard the sound, but didn't recognize anything.
This is an old classic Guinness. A beer I tried to find desperately on the game. Every single place was sold out of Guinness. Guinness, again, Irish. I absolutely love this beer. It's one of those where when I don't want a beer, I want a Guinness. Light on the stomach, coats you down. And now I get a little treat the rest of this podcast.
Connor, we must be on the same wavelength. I mean, we must be. Because I'm taking us to a place in France where they make a lot of wine. And that's what it's known for is wine in the region area. But I had, and it's not even local to the region, but just like you in London, you had a Czech beer, and I was at the Blarney Stone in Bordeaux, France, which Bordeaux is one of the best, grapes and growing regions you love. But in Bordeaux, France, at the Blarney Stone, was my favorite Guinness. I had the exact same thing. It tastes so different. It's not the same here, even with that little ball in the can that you get. Here, over there, it's so fresh and there's no preservatives. It's the best. So yeah, we have a tie there with number 6, number 5, tie. Roll it in to number 7 with Mr. Panda.
So, if you ever go out drinking beer with Connor, you be very flexible because every beer that Connor orders, they're out of that night. And Connor went like 5 beers deep before he finally could get a beer for the high state game.
Oh,
Yeah,
brutal.
apparently Connor likes all the good stuff. All right, so for me, this used to be kind of I didn't realize this, but back in the day when you would order this beer, I thought it was kind of outside the mainstream. And then I read a stat, this is the most popular beer in the United States. So it's really nothing special, but I'm a big Modelo Especial fan. And did you know that that's the most popular beer in the United States?
Only of recent. We looked it up actually.
Correct.
You said something? Yes, we looked it up recently.
Yeah, that's crazy because it wasn't always that way. But anyway, when I'm on vacation, I'm drinking a lot of Modelo. So I'm not going to
Good
other
stuff.
countries like you guys. So like I said, I'm not the connoisseur. I'll let you guys handle all that.
All right, Steve. Well, this one you're not going to have. And if you do, we really have to take a call after this. I'm bringing it back to the U.S., back to the first brewery that really started craft beer as a whole, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Probably when people think of early 2000s craft beer, this is the beer they think of. They still make it just as they did back then, and it's still just as good.
I think of the Samuel Adams up there in the Northeast too, but that is a good beer. Love that beer. Good pick. Where's that? Was that Denver?
Sierra Nevada is California, although now I'm sure they're out of nearly every state except for
Or
Georgia.
Nevada?
They really
Okay.
need to get there. Yeah.
All right, number 9. I'm staying local. I have liked this beer for a long time. A little harder now lately, but I love it. The local beer here, and I love Hop Dang Diggity, based out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Here, who's the brewery? Connor, you remember the brewery? I don't remember. Right down the street. But
Is this not Jekyll?
Deckle, thank you. Um, Great place to go. That's a wonderful beer. I love my Hop Dang Diggity. And they make like 3 or 4 varieties. Pineapple, I like the habanero one too, but man, get ready. It's a little spicy. But yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Great segment.
There we go.
Two beer connoisseurs are very similar. I think the European beers definitely win without all that stuff that goes into it. Uh, we're going to be rolling into the next segment, and this is going to be the quiz. So we're setting it up of You Don't Know Dad. And this comes to, we got the eldest involved here, Connor. I'm going to say you've got a tie, a 4-way tie with everybody has tied. I think it's 5 of 10 has been the total answers so far. We've changed up all the questions, or Mr. Panda's changed them up. So if you can beat the 5 of 10, you will be the reigning champion and take home the Red Wheels Panda Mixtapes and Moped trophy among all the siblings. So, Panda, I hand it over to you
All
You Don't Know Dad.
All right. So yes, this is the third and final installment. I think the first round was Jack and Stone, and then second round was Casey and Chloe, and now Connor is going to close it out. This is our tribute to the Newlywed Game, if anybody has forgotten, and it's called, as Steve said, You Don't Know Dad. So 10 questions, and 5 seems to be the number that you need to at least match, 6 to win. I think these questions are borderline hard. So
Wonderful.
It's hard to I'm running out of material here, so I'm really scratching for questions. So, all right, question number one is, what is your dad's middle name?
Garrett.
Wow,
Oh.
correct.
Oh.
You just
He had to put that on the application to go to
Whew.
Georgia, so that's how he knew it.
That's probably right. Yeah, it's
For
never
some
said
reason,
out loud.
I remember it because I always think of Gary as your middle name, but I know it's not that. And then I'm like, no, yeah, Garrett.
He had to use you as a reference for his current job, so.
Yeah, right.
All right,
Oh,
good one.
all right.
Sorry.
Off to a good start. All right. Second question: as I was going through the newspaper site and I was looking for my name, I realized I pitched in high school, or actually more like freshman, sophomore year, and I pitched a little bit in Little League and all that. So, and I totally forgot that I had done that. Anyway, but I do remember one game in particular. So that's the basis of this question. It is a multiple choice question. So, what was the most strikeouts your dad had as a pitcher growing up? A, 4 to 8, B, 9 to 13, or C, 14 plus.
In the single game?
Single game. Yeah, one
Who,
game.
who are you playing?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, yes, you can. I need to know. Was it a local? Was it playoff game? We're talking regular season.
It was a regular season game.
Well, law of averages says it's got to be B.
That is a great guess, but it was actually C.
No.
Struck out 19 in one game.
19 in one
19.
game?
It was a
Panda.
He should be in
seven inning game. I struck out
Central
19.
Ohio Hall of Fame.
Well,
Panda, we're talking about impossible odds here.
I struck out 19 of the 21 outs. It was the worst. It sounds better than it is. It was the worst team in our league. I wasn't normally a pitcher, so they just had me pitch, and I just threw strikes and it just kept striking them out. Really wasn't that. It sounds
By
better.
the way, Connor, I'm pretty sure in the minor leagues that I played against your dad, and I'm pretty sure I was up to bat against your dad. And I'm pretty sure me batting a whopping 140 or whatever the heck I had. my whole thing being all of 4 foot tall was have the Pete Rose stance and be down as little as possible and go for the walk and steal every base and make it to home because I was always Scott Ridenhour pitching and hopefully we're going to win with him pitching.
Oh, that's so funny.
19. Did they ever throw you up after that, or they just say, "No, that's a record. We can't."
Yeah, I didn't really pitch all that much that year because we had the best team and we had like 2 of the 3 best pitchers in the league, so they didn't really need me to pitch most days. I was the catcher on that team. Okay, number 3. How many times has your dad lived in Atlanta? Meaning, you move there and then you leave, and then you move there, etc., and leave and come back.
I would have a hard time answering this one.
Yeah, how many times total have I lived in Atlanta?
And we're not counting just changing apartments?
No, not changing an apartment or anything like that.
You have lived here, assuming Alfreda is not Atlanta.
No, and I'll just call it Georgia, just to be clear.
Georgia? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Well, you've lived here 4 times.
I'm gonna guess
Dang!
6.
4.
He's 4 is right.
4. How did you get that? There's
You
no
have-
way.
Yeah, you have when you were first here,
Yeah.
but then you had to have gone to grad school.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you lived here
Yeah.
before. Then you
Yeah.
came back with Steve.
Yeah.
Then we left, and then
Yeah.
you're back in Sandy Springs.
Yeah.
Left. Now we're back here.
Holy cow! That is exactly right.
I thought you had 1 more, 2 more in there. Yeah.
I had to go through it, and I'm like, there's no way. This is an unfair question because there's no way he's going to get it. But you nailed it. First time, Steve came down, lived on my couch. I went to grad school, and then I came back, and I lived with Steve then. And then I left again, and then came back with Mom. We lived in Sandy Springs. Then we went to Houston, then back to Ohio, and then we moved back here, and we've been here 18 years, 4 times. Well done.
2
2.
correct.
Uh-oh.
2 on a roll. All right. Number 4. At which company did your dad work the longest?
That would be Verizon.
Dang, that was easy.
That one. Oh,
All right,
you have
so
to have
that's
some of
3.
those in there.
All right. This is going to be hard. Question 5. What was your dad's major in grad school?
I thought about this in the car ride today. You are business management.
Close. No, it was MBA, but it was in finance.
You know, I had you at
Wow.
undergrad for finance. What was your undergrad?
Economics and business administration.
Oh,
All right, so that's 5. So you're 3 though. You're on a good pace here. 3 out of 5. All right, where was your dad's first job out of college located?
oh. You see, I was going to say that old factory you guys worked at to go to Sweeties, but I don't think that's out of college. So, first job out of college, you were at, oh, this may be so wrong. Were you at Google?
No, that was later.
Cincinnati?
Oh. First job out of college was Washington, D.C.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
location?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't have got that.
Where? Okay, all right, sorry. It says where was you located, so I guess that wasn't. You
Man,
wouldn't have got it.
DC.
All
What
right.
was that for?
That was for the Paul Laxalt for president thing. Okay.
Oh,
He
I'm
wasn't in the race very long. Bush wiped him out. All right. Question 7, does your dad prefer beer, liquor, or wine?
Trick question. None of the above. Dad prefers liquor. Absolutely. Little red, maybe a tiki torch in there, and then we're good to go.
There you go. Yeah, gotta have a
Whoa.
umbrella.
Closer.
All right, that's 4 for you. Okay.
Layup.
All right. Yeah, that was pretty easy. 8, where was your dad living when he proposed to your mom?
San Diego.
All right.
Another
You're at-
layup.
You're at 5. You got to get one of the next 2.
Oh,
This is a multiple choice question, number 9. Name your dad's favorite band from this group. Bon Jovi. A. B. Bruce Springsteen. C. Rush. D. Tom Petty.
you are. Oh, it's not A or B, no chance. But now I'm like the C and D's are really pulling me. I'm gonna go with my gut and say D. Tom Petty.
Ooh.
Rush.
No. Oh.
All right.
That was
We come down. Here's the final.
Final
Is he the winner, or
question.
is he tied
That'd
with
be
the rest
funny
of
if
them?
you all got 5. That would be pretty funny.
not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Okay. Which social media platform does your dad use most now?
What social media platform does my dad use most now? You use YouTube the most now.
Pornhub. Sorry.
Steve, come on, cut.
God,
The answer is TikTok. I am a
No!
crackhead. TikTok.
oh,
Five. Everybody gets 5.
oh my
That's
gosh.
pretty funny. Oh, well done, Connor. Well done.
That's so good.
It's fun. All right, we're off to segment 4, life's simple pleasures. So, yeah, this is one that Steve and we've been doing for, about halfway into the season 1, and we really kind of like it. It's just little things that happen in life that a lot of times you don't think about it, you don't say it out loud, you don't tell anybody, but when it happens, it's just a simple pleasure, nothing grandiose. And so we try to do one every show. And that's what this segment is. So, Steve, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, there's so many life's little pleasures, and it's about putting a smile on your face. So for all the listeners, it's about thinking about what's that life's little pleasure. And we had one today when I pulled up one of my slides there. It was a picture of my wife and I at a college football game. And so a life's little pleasure for us is we don't, for our anniversaries, we've agreed that we were going to go see a good college football game somewhere in the country. And so rather than buy each other crap and forget about it, we just go pick a football game. It doesn't have to be our teams. We just go travel somewhere in the country. It's got to be at the campus. And we're gonna try to root for the home team. I'm still gonna be wearing my Kirk Street jersey. So we create a lot of banter, but we want to go mix it with the fans. And every year we have a great story coming out of it. And life's little pleasure is figuring out how to have a good time from an anniversary and, make it something special for that particular day. So that's my life's little pleasure.
That is freaking awesome. I've told you this before. That is the coolest thing that you guys do that every year. You've been doing it for like 20 years or so. Just so cool. And you're going all over the country. You're not going to Penn State or Ohio State. I mean, you're going to like Iowa versus Washington or whatever. Like you're hitting
Indiana. This was Indiana, Washington this year, and it was fantastic. Even ESPN was there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Just got lucky on ESPN showing up.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love that. I'll go next, Connor, while you're thinking of yours. So this relates to, it just happened because Ohio State won the Natty. But anytime one of my teams, typically Ohio State and typically football, when they have a massive win and, you're all pumped up. And for me, like I get so amped up. It's like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. For me, just staying up till 2 a.m., listening to player interviews and coaches interviews after a big Buckeye victory or any kind of football victory, where I can just kind of calm down and ease. Before I can't go to sleep. So it just kind of calms me down. That I was like, I just love this. And Jill knows that I love it. So she's like, oh, you'll be in bed at 2 o'clock, right? Yep. That's the way it works.
We're receiving text at 2:45 a.m.
Yeah, you are.
That's really cool. I don't mind it at all. Keep sending them.
Yeah. So that for me is just a simple pleasure, like enjoying, just kind of calming down and just listening and, the excitement of a big win. It's just a simple pleasure, So that's mine for this week.
Good one, Panda. Connor, you're the young buck here. What is a simple pleasure that you enjoy?
Yeah, I think it's, again, I'm still learning what my simple pleasures are, but I think over the last 3-4 years, as I'm now out of college and I have more control in my life, control has become such a really important factor, I think, for my general happiness. And the first part I was really struggling with was just waking up in the morning. It's not something you always want to do. There's always stuff to do. It can be stressful. And I think finding time to take back control in your mornings for me has been super helpful, whether that's just making a simple cup of French press coffee, taking time to actually just wake up, sit outside for a little bit, not just get caught in that trap of the morning routine where you don't even really become conscious until you sit down at your desk at work. I think that's been, for me, my most simple pleasure. And using that method of control in a lot of different areas of my life has only shown positive results. So, sometimes you have to snap yourself out of the TikTok brain that I call it. I get sometimes where I'm just sitting there doom scrolling. I go, I gotta just take back control a little bit, do something that's intentional, break the cycle. And I always feel really good after I do it.
That's a good one, man. That's fantastic. Good one. That's a really good one. Yeah.
And Connor, while we're on this topic, why don't you give us like a 60-second minutes or 60-second stump for Rika, what you guys have done.
little unpaid promo here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of this control thing led me down this path of, hey, I like working. I don't mind doing work, but I don't have any control over my future success typically when you get stuck with these big companies. So, and I've loved coffee. It's become my morning focus, and me and a coworker. Again, I'm the brewmaster. I'm a chemist. I've been making cold brew now for 3-4 years, and he knows a guy in Mexico who happens to sell coffee beans. So we sat down last year, and we're actually working on getting kind of a production facility set up where they'll make cold brew for us. We'll ship it in. We'll have friends and family try it, see what we can do. But the goal would be, to sell cold brew coffee under the Rica name. Rica is delicious in Spanish. And I think it's been something that, whether it works or doesn't work, it's been a much more positive use of my time than just anything else, really.
That's awesome.
That's a fantastic learning experience. Nice commercial there. I like that. Good one. Good. That's a great idea. We'll have to hook you up with our good friends own the one down in Alpharetta, the Wave Coffee Shop. I can't remember the name of it, but he does a lot of roasting of his own beans downtown Alpharetta.
That's awesome.
Green
Never
Wave?
been there.
Yeah. Now they have, I think he's got 3 coffee shops now. The family does. All right, fantastic.
All right.
We're moving on. Here's our last segment. It is Stump, Wheels, and Connor. Mr. Panda always comes up with a question, and me being the moron of the group, I can never answer any of these questions. So, Connor, it's up to you and your 5 correct answers to come up with one more answer to his quote. Panda, go ahead. What is your question of the stumping of the day?
All right. So I designed this one just for you, Steve, to give you a shot to answer this. So, and this is a joke from a comedian. And my goal is to try to say it in the manner that he would say it, because that's kind of important for this comedian. And we'll see if either of you recognize it. So here we go. All right. Who would run for a job where it costs $100 million to get it, so you can make 400 grand a year? That isn't a red flag to anybody.
I've heard it. I've heard this joke 100 times. I've heard the joke 100 times. This goes way back.
It's the style of the joke. It's a current comedian that is very popular, and it's in his style. Say it again. Who would run for a job where it costs $100 million to get it, so you can make 400 grand a year? That isn't a red flag to anybody.
A local comedian here in Georgia?
Nope. One of the most famous comedians going right now.
Well, I don't. This is a struggle for me, but there's no swear words. This has to be Nate Bargatze, right?
It is not Nate.
No, that's who I was going to go with, but that's not him that said that. At the moment, in the Redneck with the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Am I close with the Blue Comedy Tour?
No, I don't think so. This guy is probably in the top 3 most popular comedians going, and he just says it like he says uncomfortable things, comments on uncomfortable topics, women, race.
Lewis.
Nope. Good guess.
For some reason, your delivery is like giving me Cat Williams, but I know that's not true. Is this? I'm curious. Is this Bill Burr?
The comedian.
Boom! Got it.
Who?
I got it. Bill Burr.
Dad, normally he has about 50 cut swear words in there. There's no way he said that.
Gilbert?
Bill Burr.
Oh, Bill Burr. Yeah.
The bald menace.
Yeah, he's funny as heck, though.
I love him.
He is very funny.
Yeah, good job, Connor. That's hard. That's just a random joke from a comedian. So I was trying to deliver it in his style, which is obviously not possible. And yes,
well, he talks like this. He talks really
yeah, yeah, exactly. Sorry. I'll make it a little easier next time. But good job, Connor, for actually getting that one.
Don't worry, Steve. I'm here this time.
Go for like 5. Except for one time he gave me a good hint and I finally picked it out, but I don't.
All
Hey,
right.
gentlemen, very good show. Thank you for all the listeners. We really enjoy everything, and you got to stick around. There is going to be some good footage here at the end of this. If you're a Buckeye fan at all, even if you're not a Buckeye fan, you're going to see some funny stuff, some good segments, things you've never seen before. Mr. Connor Young, the eldest statesman of the whole bunch here. Awesome show. Very good job tonight. You did a great job. Love your beer insights. They might have been exactly the same things, but we had a little. That was kind of funny. As soon as you said the first one, I'm like, check beer, great, and then you go Guinness. Are you kidding me? Out of all the 10,000 beers out there, we pick about the same two.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you guys for having me.
Good job, Conor. And, all I have to say is OH.
Oh!
Say hi, Barb.
Hi, Barb.
You're the Media Day sponsor.
I'm Media Day.
World champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
the other team and their similar trouble that they may be having because at the end of the day I have to do my job and our defense has to do our job too. So if we can do that, I think we'll like the outcome.
Cody, what are some of those things that the Irish present, maybe with their offense, with the running quarterback, with the good running game, that you got your eye on come Monday night?
Yeah, it's always tough when a quarterback can run and can be mobile. It's a big focus for us, and we want to be able to limit that as much as possible because he can extend plays and make it tough for people in the back end too. So, they're a tough team. They run the ball well, and it's going to be on us to be able to stop the run. And I think that'll be a big dictator of the game if we can play well in the run game. If we can play well.
Good luck.
Coach, you see sometimes it's how smart he is. He sees things and he just reacts so fast. He just brought that different element. He's only a sophomore, but he's got such a mature attitude. He's like a veteran, and we've seen that since day one. We knew that Caleb was going to be a great player, and he hasn't been anything short of that. So having Caleb's been awesome. Yeah, man, it means everything to me. I grew up a Buckeye, grew up 15 minutes away from the Woody, always loved the Buckeyes, and, put on that scarlet and gray is a dream come true for me, and the rest of the guys will tell you the same thing. So, knowing that it's my last time regardless, putting it on is going to be an emotional moment, but, we're excited for it, and we're ready for it. What better way to do it than the national championship?
We played against a lot of great teams, like you said. A lot of talent, and I think when it comes to the back end of the season, your body is tired, you're tired. It's a longer season. Comes down to, I think they talk about this competitive stamina. Being able to compete, for a long period of time, and so. Honestly, man, I think this team, man, just come together, man, continue to trust God and continue to lean on Him. And, I truly believe God is like, He has helped us to just stay focused, and even when we were tired, to just keep going, keep going. And so, and man, we're here. And so, yeah, I'm just thankful we wouldn't be here without God. And so, we played against a bunch of great teams, man. And so I think, it just comes down to like, I believe most important is, our faith in God, and then, the work that has to be put in, having to endure, being willing to compete for a long period of time. So, thank you.
Continue to build resentment, come through the adversity stronger. That's exactly what we did. We rallied together. We built up our hope in each other, our faith in the team, and our recognition that we have the pieces to be able to do what hasn't been done here in a long time. So I think just taking all those factors to heart is what you see right now. We're here at the national championship. We're laser focused and ready to win. Yeah, I'm not really entirely too sure about how many people were holding back and whatnot, but what I do know is that that means the truth is spoken, and it was received good, it was received bad. There was a lot of emotions flying. We just lost to our rivals 4 years in a row, and when you put so much into it, I think the fan bases and all the fans and everything like that, they don't really know what that rivalry really means to us. It's definitely hard. Your whole life towards something and you come up short 4 years in a row. So there's definitely a lot of emotions that we're going, but we're here now. We're on the big stage. We're so glad to be here. We're so thankful to be here. And everything in the past is behind us. We move forward, and we're strong.
And just playing in the national stage, it makes it easier for sure because I know I played in Georgia. Yeah, I played him back in high school. It was a good game.
Yeah, what was it like playing again?
It's cool. He's definitely a special player. I played with his brother too, Josh Downs. So it was nice for sure playing with him.
Off the right way, it means the world to me.
Obviously, it wasn't the one that 2 years ago, but I was talking about team. Like everything happens for a reason. What are you trying to take from this game?
Just how smooth he is, the way he's able to run routes as well. I'm kind of bigger than him, but Carnell's just smooth at everything that he does for sure.
Right here.
I say just being a decoy.
What was it about Ohio State?
Really, I feel like I was close to that. It's made the situation up to the relationship. Like, Holy Spirit brought me here to this place. Thank God enough for me.
Yeah, how much were you considering Georgia during that transfer portal? And how just frantic was that transfer portal period for you and him trying to decide where you wanted to go?
That was probably one of the most difficult pieces of my life, just trying to make that decision and dealing with the fact that I had to leave. The fact that the high school decision that I made, I wasn't going to be able to stick to. And Georgia was a really big school for me just because I grew up here and I was so familiar with that coaching staff, Coach Kirby, Coach Shell, and T-Rob had just went there. So it was a really big opportunity to go there.
Yeah. How to go on the run? So for you to have had the season you've had and go on the run that you've had, how validating is it that you've gotten to this place, you've gotten to a national championship game, and ultimately have a chance to win one in your home state?
It's a great feeling. But at the end of the day, even if it didn't work out, I would have had to make the decision out of the way, and I would have had to leave it out of the way. So that's an honor to be here.
How competitive were you two with each other growing up, and how is it maybe as a player going today? How is it going?
Even through high school, when I was in middle school, he was in high school, just watching him perform and everything, it allowed me to see that I could do it. And when he played in college, it allowed me to see that I could do it. Even watching his highlight film, even now, today, it's still an honor to watch him play. Just knowing that that's my brother, it's a great feeling.
Stuck with it. He kept his head down and kept working, and just see where he's at now. Man, I'm just blessed to be a part of his story and just be a brother of his.
JT, a lot of the guys on this team say this is the closest team they've ever been on. They attribute that to both faith and the brotherhood. Can you speak on how close this team has gotten over the course of this year, and especially throughout the playoffs?
Yeah, it got extremely close. I mean, speaking about the losses we took, really tested our faith and our brotherhood. Are we going to lean on those two things, lean on the Lord, lean on each other, or are we just going to become splinter and just start to, everybody on different pages? But we came together, we said a team prayer. We understand that the Lord has guided us for a reason, and that maybe these losses are part of His plan, but we don't know why. But we know the Lord makes no mistakes, and just continue to trust in Him. It got us here today.
And then I understand last.
Right now, not really. I think it is a blessing to be in the NFL as in general. Hopefully I get to play offensive line. Hopefully they don't ask me to play punter or anything. But as long as I play offensive line, I'm gonna give my all, regardless of position.
So, heart to heart, we had to address all the issues that we had on the team, and everybody spoke up and just fixed those problems that we had. The leadership on this team is like I've never seen. That wouldn't have happened a couple years ago. So just having the older guys, Jack, JT, and Trey, all those guys, wanted to have the meeting in the first place, just shows how much love they have for this team. And I think it's helped us tremendously. Totally flipped us around as it's like a fire.
I think our players are dialed in and understand, what we need to do to defeat the schemes that we're playing. But to be 42-0, then that means our defense is dialed in also, because we're not letting people score points too. So, I think our offense and defense feed off of each other. So if we're, say we had a kick off and we can force a 3 and out, short field when they punt it. So now we got an opportunity. I think they kind of work together as a group. The credit goes to the players in that situation. What's the offense?
I think when you're starting out the season and you're putting a roster together, you have to start from this game and move back. And I think when that happens, you have to build a team. And I think now the Big Ten has allowed us to do that with the addition of some different styles of play on the West Coast. And then certainly the traditional Big Ten play. It's a combination of being able to get big and strong and heavy and stop the run and run the football when it matters, but also being a spread out game where you can be a little bit of a track meet and have the skill to play with anybody in the country. And I think that's the combination that you need to have. And that's the goal every year, to do that. When you need to go get that yard, you get that yard. When it's time to get that stop, you got to get that stop, but also having the skill to be able to run with everybody in the country. And that's how we start. And then as the season goes on, we look to identify the areas where we have to get better or whatever that might be. But I think it all starts in the off season with our off season program and what Mick Marotti does. I think our off season program and I know it now because when I see players come from other teams, you get great feedback. You get guys who come in from different programs and say, talk to me about what your program is compared to our program. Off season, during the season, all that. It really gives me confidence knowing we're doing the right things.
Is it fair to say maybe you were 2-1-0 stylistically maybe 4 or 5 years ago that you guys were built for the track meet, maybe weren't built for the kind of game you played last year?
I think every year you learn. And I think, to be honest, I think, every year I learn and grow and figure out what needs to be done to get it fixed and identify the issues and be honest and call it out for what it is and get it fixed and get it addressed. And that's what leaders do. And, they look out on the horizon, see what's coming, because the soldiers are fighting right in front of you. That's what they are. And so what's coming down the road, and then obviously what areas need to get addressed and get fixed. And that always starts with who's in the right seats, players, coaches, and staff, making sure that's organized, and then building it from there. And so every year you grow to try to get better, and then identify it the next year and move on from there and keep growing. And we all have to continue to learn, and I think I've done that as well.
About to get them prepared and ready to perform. I feel like I'll focus on the meaning of it when I get home. Cigar place, yeah. Sushi, I have had very little time for anything like that. As much as I can, I tell you, you're right. It's limited sometimes, but I get my moments. I don't pick them out. I just let it happen.
Yes.
Well timed. Sorry, big fan. Yeah, once you did. From Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about preparation and mindset, really, right? Mindset and execution. You have to have beat Notre Dame. That's all I'm focused on, and you're right. These things happen, I guess, when you have success. Players are making plays, and my job is to put them in the best position. But I think everybody, these things come up when you do well.
I can't hear you.
You gotta talk up.
I literally can't hear you.
Perfect. Boy, oh boy, where do I even begin? Donovan, honey, my Pookie Bear. I've loved you ever since I first laid eyes on you. The way you... I think so. The way you drive to that end zone strikes fear into your enemy's eyes. You're silky smooth up and in around the goal line. And that gorgeous jump shot, I would do anything for you. I wish it were possible to freeze time so I would never have to watch you retire. You had a rough childhood, but you never gave up hope. You're even amazing on and off the field. You're a great husband and great father, and sometimes I even call you dad. I forever dread and weep, thinking the day you'll one day retire. I could sacrifice my own life if it were the only thing that could put a smile on your beautiful face. You have given me so much joy and heartbreak over the years. I remember when you first left Cincinnati. and like my heart got broken into a million pieces, but a tear still fell from my right eye when I watched you win your first ring in Houston. Because deep down, my glorious king, you deserved it. I want you to return home. Then alas, you did. My sweet baby boy came home, and I rejoiced. Last year was hard year for us, baby. But in 2024, you made history happen. You came back from left guard to left tackle, and I couldn't believe it. I was crying, bawling even, and I heard my glorious king exclaim these words: "Todd, this is for you. Not only have you changed the game of football for the world forever, you've eternally changed my world. Now you're getting older, but still the GOAT, my GOAT. I love you, Pookie Bear." My glorious king, Donovan Jackson.
I'm gonna start banning you from commenting on my page. Dude, AI has gone too far, man.
Can you just describe to me what it's like to just be Donovan Jackson?
Yeah, like one day in life.
It's pretty cool sometimes. Sucks other days.
You wake up in a bed of roses.
Donnie, right here. Julian Jackson, ESPN. Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger all day. It's all about the orange W's. In-N-Out is mid. It's all about, if you get a patty melt with a chocolate shake and a large fry, you're satisfied for the rest of the night. That's all I gotta say.
Donovan, I'm thirsty. Can I have a sip of that water?
No, I'm sorry, spitting it.
Sir, why are you spitting your water? Donovan, you got a question?
Oh yeah, right here. Sorry, Donovan.
Right here.
So a lot of people are saying a turning point in the season was when several members of the team went to Chili's and got triple dippers. Number one, confirm or deny. Two, how did that change the concept of the season, your motivation, maybe your weight, etc.?
I can either confirm or deny any chili triple dipper allegations, but I will confirm that there was a meeting at local Chili's in the Columbus area, and stuff was said, stuff was hashed, and now we're here. So I'm not saying the success, this is not an ad, by the way, I'm not saying that the success is related to the triple dipper, but it's pretty darn close.
Yep. No, thank you. Thanks.
No problem.
Right here. Donovan Jackson.
Being a guy from Cincinnati, and what's your take on Scarlet Chicken? I know you love it and eat it all the time. And when you look for that NIL deal,
there's one thing wrong with the question. I'm not from Cincinnati. I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. It just so happens the majority of my family lives in Cincinnati, but I myself am a proud Texan and Houstonian. But Skyline Chili, man, gets the job done, even an hour after eating it.
You said you're from Cincinnati, but you said you're from Houston. So you're from Katy, Texas, which is right outside of Houston, right?
Oh no, I'm from Cypress, Texas, which is next to Katy. It's not Katy, it's Cypress, Texas. No problem.
So Donovan Jackson, you've had a lot of locker mates over the years, and you may have had possible allegations of shoes being in your locker. Can you confirm or deny those allegations, and whose shoes were those? And will you miss them?
I would love to confirm these allegations. My locker mate is a mess. He has a whole shoe cubby, but at the same time, he has 4 pairs of shoes outside the shoe cubby that end up in my locker. It makes no sense.
I've heard reports that it's not the locker mate's fault. It's actually the fault of the locker mate nearest to him. That actually keeps his shoes out.
No. They're your shoes, Carson. It's the same pair of shoes that end up in my locker. You have a compartment for the shoes, but you don't put them in there.
I agree with Carson, but I think that my shoes just radiate down his locker for some reason. That's probably the real film, but are we done?
We got one more question.
Oh, sorry.
Ask him a question. One question. Oh, I think Peter wants to. Peter wants to.
Peter.
Buddy.
My dog. Oh, that's great. What kind of dog do you have? You're all great, Jim. He rides about it all that all the time.
Peter. Come here, Peter. It's like, well, your shoes smell good. Do you have treats? Right. Peter. Peter.
He's a big dog.
Kira, get in there. Hi, Peter. Hi.
ready for the national championship, Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish. Wish you were here, man. Appreciate you repping that jersey every Saturday. It means a lot. Thanks very much.
Getting closer and closer to the big day. How much are you feeling the buzz and the excitement of national championship week?
It's great. It's great day down here last night. We had a good day of preparation, a good trip down. Today's a Thursday for us, so we didn't have a great day of preparation. But our guys are excited to build up to the game.
I've heard so many of your players after every playoff game say, job's not done. How built for the moment do you feel these guys are over the last couple of weeks, and what it's taken to now try to finish this job?
We talked all year about how you build a foundation early in the season, and as it goes, we continue to work and build that foundation. But now we have to finish the job. We got to finish the mission.
Got two.
Look like he got him. Going downfield for a touchdown.
Oh, back out.
Get it back, get it back, get the next one. That's time.
You were screwed.
What's your name?
Andy.
All right, Andy and Steve. What do you think on Monday?
Now, me and Sloan, we're not doing any turnovers, no major injuries. We are going to send very soon. Absolutely. Very.
What do you think? Obviously, this is the most brutal run I've ever seen. They just beat Tennessee. Right. They just beat Oregon. They just beat Texas. And now they hit Notre Dame. You know, you can make an argument. This could be the greatest team ever.
Certainly the greatest run. How many top 10 wins are we going to have? Like 6 or 7 wins this year? Yeah, this is a crazy run. I was at the Tennessee game. I drove up from Atlanta. I kind of got to do that. And that team is different than the one that played against the team from up north. I'm not as aggressive as he is, but I think the Buckeyes win. We'll just take a win. We'll take a dub.